Hey guys, Dan from Next Venture Motorsports, and today's video is going to be covering the assembly of the 7000 series skid system for the JL Wrangler. Now, we have broken this down into assembly and installation videos separately because we have so many drivetrain options that we are covering. But if you've got a 2.0 turbo, a 3.6 V6, or a 392 Hemi JL Wrangler, this transfer case and two-piece fuel tank skid assembly does apply to your model. Stay tuned for other videos covering your specific engine and exhaust skids.
All right, to start off our fuel tank and T-case mod skid install here, we've got the T-case skid and the front fuel tank skid. These are going to be the quick ones as far as assembly goes. So these are basically just going to both get UHMW bolted up to them using these center holes. It'll be the center 4 on the T-case and then the center 2 on the front fuel tank. So we'll start with the front fuel tank. You'll notice we've got an etch here talking about circles, etched circles, and bolt sizes and fastener caps. So this is going to be on the front and rear fuel tank. Everywhere we've got an etched circle, we're going to use a 3/4 inch long countersunk bolt and a fastener cap. So if we come over here to our hardware kit, a pretty good hardware kit here, but you'll see we've got fastener caps here, which are these plastic rubber pieces with washers. And then down here, these are our two main things of countersunk bolts. So there's this one with a bunch of them. Those are 7/8 inch long. The one with 11 is going to be your 3/4 inch long ones, which we're going to use on the etched circles on the fuel tank skids. So we'll start over there. I only need 2 for the front fuel tank skid. Now we need 2 fastener caps. All right, so the UHMW is going to go on the non-etched side, just like this. Put our bolts in these 2 center holes, and back here. So for the fastener caps, start with a fastener cap washer, then your nylock nut. Fastener cap washers phased out of existence. Get another one. The same thing up here. Then what we're going to do with these is we'll tighten these nuts down, and then we'll snap the plastic on top. Now that our nylocks are tightened down, these little rubber plastic pieces will just pop right over top here. That's going to make sure this hardware doesn't rub into your fuel tank. That keeps everything nice and smooth there, just like that. So that's your front engine skid, and that's ready to go up on the Jeep. Gas tank skid. That's your front gas tank skid, ready to go up on the Jeep. All right, so now we've got the T-case skid here. It'll be very similar to the front fuel tank skid. Just get a couple of bolt holes. So this will only line up one way, but you can see we've got our part number etch here. That's going to be up, so the UHMW will go on the back side from the etch, like that. Now in this case, on our T-case skid, we're going to use our regular 7/8 inch long bolts and nylocks here.
All right, so carrying on with the actual fuel tank and T-case section of the mod skids or the full belly skids, this is going to be the most comprehensive assembly needed, is the longer piece of the gas tank skid. These are the brackets you will need for the actual gas tank skid to be bolted up. We did bring an extra option because the gas tanks are different from 18 to 19 and then forward. We have this one, which is for this 392, and then we have the 18 bracket. Because of the difference in the fuel tank itself, that's why it's important to click on the correct skid system, or give me a call and we'll get you the right one. But
so if you order the kit for your model year 18 Jeep with theoretically the larger gas tank at the back, you will receive both of these brackets, because some vehicles will have the larger gas tank and some will not. This way you've got what you need, can apply the appropriate bracket.
Because Jeep. All right. So the first step in the install process of the rest of the gas tank skid is going to be attaching the UHMW in the middle of the skid with the rubber buttons like we talked about before. Very important. It is etched. Every spot there's a circle, we'll get a bolt with a washer with a cap on it. So we will show you how to do that again right now. With the 11 remaining 3/4 inch bolts, as it says right here in this etch as well.
The 9 remaining.
With the 9
total.
With the 9 remaining.
Because you've used 2 on the front fuel tank skid already.
Exactly.
Just count with your finger.
If you run out, you're like me. All right, so after you have your washers in place, holding the UHMW down that'll get these fastener caps. We'll tighten them down now and put the fastener caps on. That way it's just done step of the deal. All right. So it's really important with these fastener caps, when you're putting them on, you'll hear a click. There should be 2 clicks. I might have got that one in one. But when you're putting them on, you want to hear a, why are they only snapping once? I've always been, there. Snap, snap. Snap, snap. I mean, those ones are on there. Snap, 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 snap. Snap, snap. Snap. All right, that's weird. Either way, as long as they're on there, they don't fall off, you're good to go. All right, now let's continue with rest of the installation of the parts onto the actual gas tank skid. So we'll start on the inboard side towards the drive shaft. Which piece is first?
I will start with this front piece here, which is going to go right here on the front inside of the fuel tank.
Line up with your UHMW holes, and this will take
our 7/8 inch long countersunk hardware. There's a bunch of these. These will also get fastener caps. So all of the exposed hardware tops around the sides of the fuel tank skid will get fastener caps to keep your fuel tank protected.
'Tis important. There will be documentation as well on which ones exactly need fastener caps, but we want to show it anyways, which I'm guessing from this angle, it's not really showing it. Here, you just want to stand there real quick. That's why it is also important to use the correct hardware in the correct spots, because if you use the short ones here, they won't reach, and if you use the long ones here, they'll poke out. So we just want to make sure that everything's in the correct spot. I thought we normally just send nuts and washers separate. I guess for these ones, you have to use the jam nuts. So come on, washers. All right. Now that these are actually, when we go along this whole install here, these can actually be tightened down, correct? So these can actually be tightened down into place. We don't need to worry about them going in. They will fit. So after every bracket you put on, it's just safe practice to put on your fastener caps. That one's a little tight underneath that squeeze nut, but still goes in there. Snap. Well, I'll just continue on then.
Yep.
Like we said before, there are multiple versions of this backside of this bracket because different fuel tanks are shaped differently. Thank you, Jeep. Anyways, this is the 19 plus version. If you order the 18 version, you will receive this bracket as well because your gas tank is unknown. You might have the 19 plus. So you'll receive both of these. You can look at the tank with this up there and obviously tell which one you're going to need. So this one we know because it's a 24. We're going to need this bracket. So continue on with your countersunk hardware with fastener caps. And you want to make sure as well, these only line up to one spot, but there is going to be a gap here because this is where our second fuel tank strap will go to the frame. So this gap here is left intentionally because there is a second gas tank strap that'll go to your frame and then up to your body right here, and it'll bolt side to side, but you'll see that in the install video. This is just the assembly video, so we don't need that part just yet. We'll continue on with fastener caps and that. One more, that, there and there. And again, tighten them down. Then fastener caps. Click, 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 click. Click, click. Click, click. All right, so that is the inside portion of the rear gas tank skid. We'll move on because there is bracketry that goes all the way around this that can be fully installed before you put the gas tank skid up. These couple of pieces, these back portion pieces, like this guy here that will bolt to the frame, we will leave that loose here. No, we won't leave that loose because you can't get to it. So we're going to tighten her down. But we'll go to this piece first. All right. So on the inside rear of the tank skid, you'll see this bracket here. Same thing, it's going to use the 7/8, 3/8 inch countersink bolt with fastener caps. Please do not forget your fastener caps. Just a good, safe bet to keep the tank safe while you're beating your Jeep up. Tighten down, Also, will say it is important to tighten these down before you put the cap on because these can be a pain in the butt to get off. And if you leave one of these loose, it's just going to be loose and spinning there, and you're going to want to tighten them down and put these on in the appropriate manner. All right, so then the next bracket is this little L bracket. Will go on the back of the frame, or the back of the skid, and then this one will go here. But we'll do one by one. Let me get all the rest of my hardware out. Same thing. Fastener cap. Well, washer. This is a real interesting part of this video. Tyler does the same thing for 400 bolts. I'm going to spin it this way now. And then your fastener caps. Click. Ha-ha, sneaky. Click. All right, so you may ask, if you've seen our previous skids, why they're like this. So the previous skids, we were able to bend and weld the flanges that we needed to mount to the vehicle. With the 7075 aluminum that we are using now, can't do that. So that entails more bracketry to actually bolt to the frame, to the skids, make it very, very sturdy. Ooh, he was happy with that one. All right, tighten her down. And I think these are going to be your last two fastener caps on this. Voila. We do have one more bracket to put on, but this is just a good representation of where all the fastener caps are going to land. And we'll put the last piece on.
That was a nice long ending to that video.
Perfect.
But we're going again.
All right, so the last piece that you need to install on this gas tank skid before you put it up into the vehicle is going to be this. This is the railing that actually bolts the skid to the frame. And you'll see it comes all pre-installed with all of our squeeze nuts and everything you need. So we'll orientate it the correct way and you'll see where it'll go. It'll sit on the skid like this here. This is a frame bolt. Jacob, what bolts hold this in?
So mostly is going to be some 1/4" bolts, but we'll start off with one more of the same 3/8 bolts you've used with a fastener cap.
Oh, I lied in the last part. There's one more. I'll put it this way so we can see it.
And then for the bottom, into the riv nuts, got this big thing, a 1/4" countersunk, 1" long bolts here.
Open bolt hole. Now this one I don't think will tighten down immediately, but this one will hold it in place so that we can get all the rest of the hardware in place. Sound good? This back corner, does it get a nut?
The back corner gets a nut. So the back corner gets one of these with a nut.
So one of the short 1/4-20s, 1 inch?
That's shorter than 1 inch. I don't remember what they are.
7/8. Short 1/4-20s.
Oh, yeah, the only ones with nuts.
Yes, so there is, all right, pause, start again.
So now that we've secured this rail with our 1 3/8 bolt just to hold it in place, we use one of the 1/4" countersunk bolts with the nut on it for this very back location here.
Get that held.
And then for the rest underneath here, we'll use just our slightly longer 1/4" bolts with no nuts.
Let me see if I get this thing to sit good, and then I'll grab the, you work like that?
Yep. There you go. Maybe. There we go.
All right, because these are squeeze nuts into this piece, all you have to do is just thread them in to the UHMW and the bracket. There will be one more 3/8 countersink bolt that goes here, but it is onto a weld nut, so there's no need to worry about that one.
And just like when you're putting the whole skid system up against your Jeep, you want to leave all these a little loose until we get them all in. Then you can tighten them all down.
Countersunk holes are pretty precise. No room for error. And I will put this guy in.
Where'd you get that from?
No.
Was it just sitting on the table?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the wrong one then. Because it would have come out of the thing with nuts in it, which would be the wrong.
All right, I will not put this one in. Disregard.
We need
one of these. One of 2 shorter countersunk bolts is going to be for this bolt, and then there's another bolt just like it on the TK front fuel tank skid. That's why there's 2 of these. Use one for each.
Why don't you put it in over there?
All right, then tighten down your remainder hardware. So remember to tighten this one down and put a fastener cap on it. And then this guy, once all your quarters are put in place, and we should be ready to roll. It's not install unless you're throwing stuff.
All right, so now that we've got all these bolts on this rail tightened up, don't want to forget our fastener cap on this one.
I think that fuel tank skid is ready to be installed. On to the next.
All right, so once you got your UHMW bolted up to the front fuel tank skid, these 2 bolts here, we'll put on this side rail. This is what's going to mount the skid to the frame of your Jeep. So we've got a couple different bolts here. I like to start with this guy because it's nice and exposed to hold this in place. So for that, we're going to use another one of our 7/8 inch long 3/8 countersunk bolts. and fastener cap, because this goes underneath your fuel tank. So we've got that guy on there, throw the washer on, just put this nut on loose for now. All right, now we can move up to the front here, since we can see these guys. We've got one through hole and one inserted PEM here. So for the PEM, we're gonna want these really short 1/4-inch bolts. That way it just goes up nice and flush and doesn't stick through. Put that one in the front corner. And then for the through hole, we're gonna want one of our 1/4-inch bolts with nylock nut here. All right, now underneath, got these 4 holes that are 1/4-inch and then this bigger 3/8-inch one. So we'll grab some of our long 1/4-inch bolts here. Yep, there we go. Thread them right into the riv nuts that are pre-installed here. The Torx.
If you get this, throw it away. There's 4.
And then we've got our one remaining, here it is, our one remaining short 3/8 countersunk bolt that will go in right there, just like that. All right, now that we've got all these bolts in the bottom and this bolt in, we can go ahead and tighten them up.
Don't forget your fastener cap. Did I say don't forget your fastener cap?
Fastener caps are good. Use them.
Don't forget your fastener cap.
And then we can tighten up this guy because it's into a PEM. And then this guy goes into a weld nut back here. And you can double check. We've got the shorter bolt here so it doesn't stick up too far. Because there's going to be a nut stick that comes in on top here. We need a little bit of clearance. So I've used just a little shorter bolt there. Last bolt to tighten. The one with the countersink or the fastener cap washer.
Fastener cap. Fastener cap.
Once it's tight, put your fastener cap on. Like that. Now your front fuel tank skid is ready to go.
Perfect.
Stay tuned for more videos on how to install this on your JL Wrangler and also how to assemble your engine and exhaust skids. And if you like the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hope to see you guys out on the trail.
It's not Scott's fault. Well, we do blame Scott.
The 2018 specific one right there also comes welded.
Yes, it does. We just didn't have. Yes, we stole it from welders.
And there's no microphone that I'm talking into over here, so this is probably just nothing.
Oh, it's going.
Oh.
Mine can hear you. Drilling into brains of people.
Don't drill into any part of your fuel
I'm
tank.
drilling this.
Don't drill into any part of your fuel tank. Don't listen to him.
I'm just trying to drill it into their head.
Don't drill into your head.
Some of you need to drill into your head. All right.
No drilling. Fuel tank, very bad.
All right. So this portion of the actual All right. So for this portion of, God damn it. You good?
What's that drill bit? What's the tool list look like on there?
Are you good?
Great.
Take a breather. You'll be all right. No, you won't. We should have just done without him.
Yes.
Go back to your cave. What? Do you stay at home too much now? So you're getting weird.
Like you rehearsed that one.
Goes into